Tene tatanda Thrangu Rinpoche Bangadu dele shugela. Tene tejendo te zomdo yo maze tanda chena bege be tombe chula te pata ichita mugu gone nyamling kan todro nawala tuji che hyujuta. Tene te jeso tatanda ngaranso cerdo uma senaya rong. Chaja chimbo senayang rong, zoba chimbo senayang rong, ta zawa senji nelu tong, chuji yenji nelu topa la, ra lege yuwa re la, teni te yang ra lepa te, tanda, ta zawa lama tong, jipe lama tong chi la, sorwa tapa la, ra lebe chirna, dojin chong tong ma, sonden tenpe ka so la, tepa tong mugu, chi ne, sorwa tap na ro che.
First of all, I'd like to wish you all good morning, and I'd also like to thank you all very much for having such great faith and devotion in the Dharma and doing the practice as well as you have been doing. And then whether we are talking about the middle way, whether we talk about Mahamudra, whether we talk about Dzogchen, the main thing is that this depends upon realizing the way the nature of the mind is, realizing the way the Dharma expanses, and that in turn depends upon the root and lineage lamas. And so as we recite this Vajradhara lineage prayer, please have great faith and devotion in the root and lineage lamas. Rolpe Dorje chanjen de lo na ro tang marai ba mi la chen de gam
Tene tatanda Rolpe Dorje tangurtan, Rolpe Dorje ke tangurtan, tene tanda Jangam Rinpoche ke Dzogchen ke tangur nite tatanda Hyubarela, tene te Zawandabo te tangbo, tene karirese na Jerdo, tene Chulu Mandawa. Yore chulu mandawa yoba tenzo karirese na ta sosuke tapta mengo mandawa la yoba ala tene tene chulu mandawa yungu yore la tene ti tapta mengo tenzo pe sulina ya kalchimbare yena ya tapta mengo tenzo tene gomba ngal de bandawo yore bese na gomba ngal de bandawo yomare la ya tela gomba mangal na ya mige somchulta Tonsul la de Dramadiba Yorbesena Dramadiba Yore la Tini Tig Chani Kapnder Tini Mentin Betsul Tini de Higu Yor De Cites Gardan Rabuchuma Chul Rabude Higu Tawato Tuntamanda Watenzo Gardan Rabude Yaba Hini Di Pangja de Pangne Tene Tati Zo the Canderesen Nengo Gatana led to Gomba Tate Pagio Tinzol and Garda Hiro Yomari Muni Lam Yang Tabala Huna Garda Kaya Yomari La Tini teacher na Takandar Mentimbetul Tempata Tini Timbetul Tempa Garwata no Salvasi Tatin by Yendel Tin Yorella Tina ne Tatanda Tambo Jagarto Shung Tuntanamba Ye Sheranawa Dodeba Sensompa Umapa Tihege Gombatan Magomba Mountain Betul Unhavege Muporun Zambati Pangjaim Betul Muporun Zambati Pangne Tini Kasin Tanda Sachi Sumbagon to Siena Muporun Zambati Pangne Tandam Nelu Tena Pap na Gomba Mangalwakito Yomare Tigitani Gomba Tumba Yore Teta Galde Bandabushito Yomare Takasinka Kausala Tambo Sirada Nawatum Dodeba Lasoba Ye Tuntate Tiji Sola Tene Tanda Tige Gomba Mangalwitsulte Tene Tatanda Tena Deni no Jijin Zeche Nomring Nawakan Jijin Zeche Sharsam Kembokan Jijin Zeche Samne Tembarella Tini teacher Nangaransu Nyamlinga Kapsala Ngunzin Davo Chirul Gungupola Ngunzin Davo Yapata Nanga Sanla Denzin Davo Yapa That Tindisiana Tete Tene Umitawa Inaya Togi Amarella Tene Tanda Shaja Chimbo to Zopa Chimbo Inaya Musu Te Togi Amare teacher na Tata Talwa Tene Nonton Mangalawa Chi Noa Kunzo Tendrige Noa Ton Tendon Chuni Demba Nite Mangalawa Nyomdo Nechopa Tene Tig Netsul Tetan, Tejendo Nang Sanjong the Siena, Salwai Hichi Chadong, Tomba Chuji, Tomba Yenji Chanibote, Mangalawa, Tate, Topate, Kalchiawa, and Avotatinde, Soin.
Now we've been talking about this Song of the Middle Way of View by Thrangu Rolpe Dorje. We have also discussed Mipam Rinpoche's Song of the Dzogchen View. And so what is the root that these all come down to? Well, there are many different Dharma traditions, and the reason that there are so many different Dharma traditions is because there are different instructions, different methods that are given. And because there are different instructions and methods, then there have developed different traditions. And so all of these methods, all of these instructions are very important. And so when we come down to it, does the intent, does the meaning of these traditions exclude each other? Is it contradictory? It's not contradictory to other. Actually, there isn't really any contradiction. But when we look at it, the way people look at it, sometimes does it seem like there are things that aren't quite right, some things that aren't working? It does seem that way. There are parts where they seem incompatible. And so we need to know what these points where they seem incompatible are. We need to know the points where they seem to be contradictory. And when we know them, then we are able to eliminate the faults that we need to, or eliminate that which needs to be eliminated. But all of these really come down to one point, to the one main point. If we are following the path properly, then it all comes down to the same point. And so here it teaches, the way in which the schools seem to be incompatible, the way they seem to be, the way they are not actually contradictory, and it also then teaches the section on eliminating what seems to be contradictory. And so here we have been going through the different philosophical schools. We've gone through the philosophical schools that have that flourished in India, the Vaibhashika or Great Exposition, the Sautrantic or Sutra school, the Mind-only or Chittamatra or Vijñaptavadan school, and the Middle Way school. And so we talked about how these actually all are in harmony, how they are all compatible. However, in the aspect, if there is any clinging to things as being true, then that clinging to reality, that is something that needs to be enlightened. And then in the third section on this, it talks about how the various assertions are not contradictory. So in terms of the realization of the ultimate way things are, they all are compatible. They do not contradict each other in any way. For example, when first talking about the Vaibhashika and the Sutra schools, the two schools that propound external objects, it says, just be joyful. It does not contradict this in any way. And so, but when we are practicing, if we have any clinging to reality, whether we are clinging to outside objects as being true, real things, or whether we are clinging to the internal perceiving mind as having true existence, then or whether we are clinging to some form of the Madhyamaka view, then we are not able to realize the nature as it is. We will not realize the Mahamudra or Dzogchen. And so for that reason, we need to be free of all the extremes, free of all the clinging. And we need to realize that all of the appearances happen, but they do not contradict the essence of how they are. There are the external appearances that come about through the relative interdependence. And these go together very well with the ultimate Dharma nature. Similarly, if we think about it in terms of the mind, there is the aspect of clear wisdom in the mind. There is the aspect of the empty expanse. And these are not contradictory of each other. It is extremely important to realize this.
Tene tatinani zawadrabute takaririsena tane tanda tangaransu nyamlin la sarcha nyamlin la ngecha semla ngisha ta tinguni yapurindo samba titi ne tante duga samba che hakogu yorela te hakogu chirdala tene tunta mandawa namchi yatong mandawa dela dinde sena dig mare dinde sena dig re tene ta tisone dig barela tene te zo ngaransu nyamlela pemba nyamlin la pemba te ya ta tanda nyamlin te la pembe ke tap te ta kandire se na kasin chitang mambu ke jwanang du nyamlin la pembe tap nyamlin kompel ton ro ke tap karisi gu re se tene ta zo tusom ke tene koa ya po je na tusom ke koa ya po je na tene tela tene ngishi ngure nihi ke tendo nyongwa ji chona tini tel salcha yungure ichi yungure re la teacher na pengre jeje tini nipa de kandire sena ta joda jin re la joyong de sena tu tangbo tingen zenje nyamlin de kandire sin pergi yo re sena tini kasin hyuba yindo tangbo tsultem la ne tini tanda kasin hyuba yendo shongchu senje damba len shongchu senje skongong dong jie de nyamlin yapo se teni tuba yapo se teni samba yapo se ti ngihi ji ta ngarang gamju ge tenda den rindo gamji ge ne den rindo den nguni manurwa rindo samba ngihi ji teni ti tendo gamne teni gamba lanjo gamne ta telaya gamba te ta kapkala sarcha chimbo yopala gatsur chimbo maji sarcha chimbo majung wala ichi rabo maji ba teka la ta ngara senji nelu gamba yin senji nelu yin anda chuji yin nelu yin anda te gamba yin bechena tini ko teka si tingondo chungni gamna tini te la pento chimbo yunga yopa te joy ondo se gong tingen zen peru ki jo tini chenji ondo se na tini ngara su senam ju tsusa perna tanda ngandru go ondo se na luchi go ni chansal tini ngoga go ni ngoda yeji go ni tini sonde to muguji lamen nanjur gom solwa tap ta tinde se ni shinat top tini tela tini tingen zen konto perwa yunga yorela tini jodang kin namba ni nzamna drevu tini parto jegi yorela tini teacher na tanda tawa tang tunta tini che se na ta ngarang gom jaya tikor mahi bachi shedwa nawe gende bandere dodi bende bandere senzon bende bandere sin hi na gupa kari yore samba yore ti tunta susu ge tawa tela tini salcha ta ti tini tena pabe ge ten niran je yore la ti yapo je hi na umi ge netang chuji yin je netang tong seni ge netang ti la koa yapo je ji koa yapo ti ji na tini tela tini nyam to de yapo yung ge yore.
So what is the main thing? The principal thing is to have real certainty in what the clear aspect is. It's to be able to say, that's it. That is good. That's what it's really like. It's to be able to know that and to understand that. And so that is why all the different schools make their own presentations of the various different presentations. And in their presentations, they say, this is good, this is what you should do, this is not okay, that's what you should not do. And the main thing is that this is in order to help our practice. And so when we want to help our practice, a lot of people ask about this. What is the way to do this? How can I improve my practice? What are the methods I can use? So, the main thing is to have a really good understanding that we develop through listening and contemplating. Then through having that good understanding from listening and contemplating, we develop certainty. Then on top of that certainty, we can develop experience. And then when we experience the clear aspect of this, we will have real belief and real trust in it. And so in order to do this, there are two things we need. There are the causes and there are the conditions. And so the causes, what is the cause of increasing and developing our samadhi meditation? Well, it is, as I said yesterday, First, we need to maintain discipline. We need to maintain the vows of the Bodhisattva, have the motivation of the Bodhisattva, and practice that well. And then we need to listen. We need to listen well and study and comprehend well. Then we need to contemplate it well. And when we've really contemplated and chewed it over really well, then we get that real strong certainty of what it is. We know, okay, this is what it is that I'm meditating on. This is how I'm meditating. This is the main point of it. This is what it is. This is the unmistaken. That's what it is. And then we begin to meditate. And so when we do that, then sometimes the clear aspect will be extremely strong and really, really bright and strong. Sometimes it won't be so strong, or however, and we won't really have any confidence. But however it ends up being, whether we are talking about the nature of the mind, whether we are talking about the way the Dharma expanses, the way the Dharma Dhatu is, we need to rest within it and nurture it and extend it. And if we do that, that will really help our meditation. So that is the cause of increasing and developing our meditation. And then the conditions or the circumstances that help us increase our meditation is to gather the accumulation of merit. And so, for example, if we are doing the preliminary practices, this includes prostrating with our body, reciting mantras with our speech, with our mind, we supplicate, we have faith and devotion, we do guru yoga, we make prayers. And through this we will be able to receive the blessings. By receiving the blessings, then we will be able to develop the meditation. And so if we have both of these causes, both the cause and the condition, then we will be able to really attain a good, strong, firm result out of this. And so, when we think about it, all the different views and all the different philosophical schools, if we don't think about them in terms of meditation, then we can think to ourselves, well, what good does it do me to know what the Vaibhashika view is, or the Sautrantika view, or those how do you say that word? The Vignapti. It doesn't help us to know. What's the point of knowing that? But if we understand what these words are, then, we can have real, we realize that each of these philosophical schools has a real definitive way of presenting the clear aspect. And so if we know that, then we can come to understand, what the middle way is, what the nature of the Dharma expanse is, what the way the mind essence is, and when we have a good understanding of that, then that will really help us develop our experience and realization.
Kasing Sanyin Kandu Kedu Mambu Nindapatiala Rimbayendo Hilu Tipoji Yena Late Setate Yapoji Kwa Yapoji Nihi Yapoji Tela Tingens Yapojim Perna Yapore Tambo Zawa Zuksanda Zumun Zuksati Jiki Yen Se Tatelte Se Kapkala Norsa Yovarela Tela Manurwa Gugre Ten Yapoji Gugre Savne Lavja Navarela Teni Lavja Tela Nini Ti Lavja de Tondoloni Teni Galwiki Chati Pang Mangalwe Chati Nyamsu Lana Teni Tanda Gomban Tumba Yore Savne Tangbo tat kasing control Salton Mangalwe Zongjung Chuke Lohi Jensen Tochum Mugu se Tangbo Sachapa Salton Song Jupa Tini Salwaton Tombatini Mangalawarela Salwa Yepeka Solo Tombatin Nyam to Yochogre Tomba Yepeka Solo Salwatin Nyam to Yochogre Tassentinelu Jatawa Yento Gomba Casala Salton Mangalawarela Teacher Nakunzo ten region no Tanton Chuni Yen Nijon Sunju to Yochogre Telangalwa Yo Mare Tini Gomba Chikpandaboji Yorela Tene teacher na Padin Sachabe Tene Laundry Loki Jipanzinki Namchi Tene Topa Chunchun Dabo Ai Tangaranso Nanzu Tawa Tontingamendo De Yenda Insare Sompe Topa Gogamare Tini Tanda Te Salton Sunju Gatanton Tanda Tonton Sunju Gatani Chikpa Raboji Yungrela, Tinitel Topanangwe Yomares.
And so then following this, we have the discussion of the Sakya, Nyingma, Kagyu, and Drukpa schools. And so as was discussed above, if they're referring to the accurate fundamental nature, then that is fine. If they have a good understanding and their meditation is good, that is very fine. But the main thing is, I just wonder what it is their fingers point to. So there's potential that sometimes there might be a mistake. And so we need to make sure that we are unmistaken about this. We need to definitely be sure that we are doing this properly. And so then if we listen to this advice, we take up this advice, and we eliminate what needs to be eliminated, and then we eliminate any difficulties and problems, then it comes down to the assertions are not contradictory. The assertions, the intentions of both are compatible, and so that is what we discussed the other day. And so, picking up from that, here on the bottom, towards the bottom of page 9, 6 lines from the bottom of page 9, it reads: we have first the Sakyapa school. And it reads, since lucid and empty are not contradictory, it is sufficient just to sustain that. So you lineage holders of the guiding instructions don't need to worry about a thing. And so when we talk about the union of clarity and emptiness, or the union of lucidity and emptiness, they're synonymous. Lucidity or clarity and emptiness are not exclusive of each other. While at the time that something is clear, it can also be empty. At the time that it is empty, it can also be clear. And so when we are looking at the nature of the mind and seeing it as it is, we see that the clarity or lucidity and the emptiness are not contradictory in any way. And so in the same way, the relative interdependence and the ultimate Dharma expanse are also unified. There's the union of the relative interdependence and the ultimate Dharma expanse. The two come together. They are not exclusive of each other. And so for that reason, you lineage holders of the guiding instructions, or the Sakyapa lineage holders of the lineage of the path and result, don't need to worry about it. There is nothing that is incompatible in the views. It's not like we're saying, oh, there's something else here. It's not that. They're both the same. The union of clarity and emptiness, the union of appearance and emptiness are the same. So you don't need to have any doubts or any worries about any of this.
다 대제서 한줄 이마 와래라 한줄 이마 와게 되네 단다 다 숨주텔라 까다 선듭지 긍성롱 혈세다 가신 다와 야버갑설라 되네 까다 동 선듭데 되네 동부선지 긍두선도롱 혈 난선된 자와 인성 다 텔라테 지 대다부데 라 추지 연지 내루도 자르나 되네 갈와카에 요마레데 Yinaya, tini zanghin mugu sedu tini pe tawate cheparaton papa sapo je yen, chu je yen, nontong sunju sengen tenso pe memba teme bandabo, longa topu membe ke lamdabo re samba, tindi nanyin ke maare, tini ti kada tong lundup te yapo re la, tini chu je yen tang nontong song tenri song tunju pa te la ya, teni zongi te kada nelu ke nongda njurchu ge yore kada layon kani thakpare te yena ya neka tanda ngaranso tamal be nongola teni khorwe ge ne la teni tanyangelen de pare se de yapo teni khorwa tong ngesong re se de dubo ndabote tendir ge nongwa te char ge yore la ye number tapa rete yinayo te charwatin tepa yinpe chirna rinzin hipo nam tempe tingenzen yapo yunkin gam yapo yunkin tela te chi ngajali yung sheo te chi yunkin nganzo pe tawan tombo yin gongwa tenzu ke teni nganzo yapo yin teni tawa yin da dupo re son de zon yin zi mugu te teni kanga nyamne yapo na dirwa yapo na na yapo re son
Next is the ancient Nyingma tradition. And as we discussed the other day, in the ancient Nyingma tradition, there are the teachings on both the spontaneous presence and the primordially purity. And so here it reads, though being alpha pure or primordially pure, good and bad are still justified. So you smashing awareness holders don't need to hang on to what's good. Or you do not, or you could also translate this, you don't need to cling to being the best. You don't need to cling to being the best. And so as we discussed, there's the view of the primordial purity, or also translated here as the alpha purity, the spontaneous presence. And as it talked about before, this is seeing the very face of the primordial Buddha, of the original Buddha, Samantabhadra, at his face. And so if that and seeing the nature, if you join that with seeing the nature of the Dharma expanse, the Dharma Dhatu as it is, there's no contradiction to it at all. And so here, you don't need to cling to being the best. Means, there are some people who think to ourselves, our Nyingma view is the best, it is the pinnacle of all views. And when you talk about that Dharma expanse or the union of appearance and emptiness, that's some sort of a lower view. It's not as high as our view. We have this, we have the ultimate of all paths, and so these others are just not as good. But actually, that sort of pride is not necessary, because, of course, the spontaneous presence and the primordial purity are very good. But that's the same as the union of the Dharma expanse and interdependence. And so when we have the appearances relatively of things being good. Of course, in terms of their nature, they are primordially pure. But in terms of the relative appearances, there are things that seem to be good. There are things that seem to be bad. Being in samsara is bad. Nirvana is good on the relative level. So the samsara and the lower realms are bad. And that is just how relative interdependence occurs. So even though they are pure from the very beginning, this is how they appear. And so they're still justified. They're still reasonable to say that. So you smashing awareness holders. When you talk about awareness holders, these are smashing awareness holders. These are people who think, I've got the highest, the best, the ultimate view. They have a little bit of pride about this. And so you don't need to cling to being the best. You don't need to think, those other views, those are not so good. There's no need to do that. So what's important here is to have good practice and to have make good connections, and then if you do that, everything will turn out well.
Tene ta te jeso tene karma kamsong ton rupa kandu ni rela kandu ni ji machu len ji chaja chimbo ta chitang ka zo rang tomo ma imbe mengwa de kandere sina chaja chimbo gam nang ge yore chaja chimbo gam nang du de pe yapore de yin ya ta de la ta gam chin kha ke gong na ju ne gam na tan jig ma de tene ta perna tusam siana ya te som pento yo mare tene zochu jatne gomna ta lenchi te ma tene machu pa te gom go gresene tene ta tende sunga yo arela te la mandi pa yo mare ju ne gomna ya ta tangbo tusam se tusam ngi chi te tendo tene tanda nyo sengote te tendo nyo chi ne gomna lenchi chi bi hitin charware lenchi chi ba se du ta rang la yebe sanje ne lu gi hitin chargung go yore la tini teacher na tsani chu nyeng mare ta tini pe ma chu pare ne lu re se ne to den gembo no utsu mugo tini te tomba ni to do tombo tomba ni imbala do tini ta te jeso non ton song dun ju ba ton sa ton song dun ju ba ton de ton song dun ju ba la so ne lu ten la pa tini te la ngi hi chi te ten to gom na tini len chi bi hin char ge la tini te mare se ne to den gembo no chi utsu gugu mare so.
Next are the Karma Kagyu and the Drukpa Kagyu school. And so in these schools, the particular instruction of the tradition of our tradition is to talk about the unaltered innate Mahamudra. So the unaltered innate nature of the mind. And so when we meditate upon Mahamudra, there are some meditators who think about it who say, this is the best, this is the greatest, and so we cannot do anything to sort of alter or contrive anything at all. That's not okay. And so for that reason, we shouldn't do any study or any contemplation. That's sort of contrived, and we don't want to contrive the unaltered emptiness at all. We just need to have the unaltered, uncontrived, innate essence shine as it is. That's all we need. But if we say that, there's actually nothing wrong with doing a little bit to fake it sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with doing some to sort of contrive it a little bit, because even if you contrive it a bit, eventually the unaltered wisdom, the innate wisdom, is going to appear. And so if you first do the study and contemplation, develop the certainty, and then through that you can have recognition of the mind essence from which you develop experience, and then the innate wisdom is going to shine whether you do it. And so this is the innate wisdom. This is the wisdom that is already present within us, and that will just appear as the nature of the mind, so this uncontrived wisdom will appear. And so it's not necessary to think, we don't need to change anything at all, just leave it all untouched, uncontrived. And so you seasoned realized ones, that meaning those people of the Karma Kagyu and the Drukpa schools, don't need to be so pushy about this. You don't need to be pushy about it. It's okay. You can establish with logic that everything is emptiness. You can come to develop certainty in the union of appearance and emptiness, the union of clarity and emptiness, the union of bliss and emptiness. You develop full comprehension and internalize it. You have the real certainty of it, and then and then you meditate upon it, and the innate wisdom is going to appear. And so it's no need to say you can't do anything at all and be pushy about that.
Tene ta te jeso yemi tuder de kelon chopi togen gonding non sapsup mazi sunjite tene tanda kasin kondo tembe tanda tata ranri losanga hi tene roga dembe loje tene lodu salwa pecha sarba jinta tenjuge chutup dendu so dala himbe singinte dikorte rela tenzo laya ta tela toge ngonti sedu tene nando nyamni hira menkin tene dela to chila somo mambo tangwa tene tisomo tang tene tela kalchembo se tene sedu ta tela togewa sege warela togewa te ngonti bote tang netawa ti ying tawa te mari sene pe ngonti bonam ngonti nam sabsup mazi sabsup kandi sege yore sena o yote na tene tanda takpar tawa rindogre tene ta tendambala tomba insegure ya concept me sena tendam me sena ya cheta rindogre tene te concept yo segure tendam de me segure tini ta ni te chei sondunjo sena yebaton meba ni de nyomdo del de banaki tene tanda kupa thawonda buje jege nonwanda buje khanne tene tinde je yemi ni de galdala no yena me merwa mena ye merwa indu tela tene ye senkin te kunzob ge chala ye samato ya ye sen yapoje la makina tene tendam do ye balan jondo gre sombe toba sabetsubita sabsubte yungewar 다 메세나 단덤도 메세와 마도야 야 메세나 군접도 메바 쳐서나 드니 베야 년가 쳔보다고 쳐도 요래서 잡이소리 제게 요래 잡습 마지 잡습시 미니비 존생 칸디르세나 예 yen도 메빈네다 군접도 노 yen도 단덤바 돈이게 단데다 예인 쳐봐 dan tamba toni yen yen de kunzo je no atin char chopa de irela de yon truba ton travati ti ge cha ne de ni che ni ga ma yin pa ton ye pa ton me ta ton trawa yin be chen ma tru dal re chu tam ji ge ne lu de ne tender kunzo tender je no ton dan ton chu ni ji ye ni de nyom do ye pa de ni song dun ju pa Tibetan Buddhism, ke lang choge yore, tel kan trog yo mare. Ye se na che lanjon rogre, me se na che lanjon rogre son pe topan ro gu mare, ke no choge yore, junsin teacher na toge wa tenzo sapsup maze, ni ti chuni je nelu de ten la pa chogre so yin.
The next lines read, "It is sufficient to accept the freedom from the reference points of existence and non-existence. So you hard-headed dialecticians, don't go helter-skelter." And so here, this is as above where there were the lines that read, "These days, some of our luminaries." Yep, some of our great luminaries these days. These days, some of our great luminaries, and so forth. And that is talking about the some people in the school of the mountain of Dashita, the Gelugpa school, who cling to such terms as things being self-sufficient, as things being as true existence, and so forth. And so these are what we're referring to when we talk about the hard-headed dialecticians. Or for dialecticians, you could also say intellectuals. And so these intellectuals are people who don't really have any practice within themselves, and instead they're always thinking about outside things. They're directing their attention outside, and they're thinking the outside things are important. And so these are the dialecticians or the intellectuals. And so here, what it means is that these are the people who say, my view is the best view, your view, others' view is terrible. And so these are the hard-headed, stubborn dialecticians. And it says, don't go helter-skelter. So helter-skelter, that means like they think, well, if you say something exists, then that's saying it's permanent, and but then it doesn't go along with the ultimate emptiness, and so how can this be? And then if you say that something doesn't exist ultimately, then how can it possibly appear relatively? And so how can it be? And so if you say that things don't exist ultimately, then you're falling to the extreme of nihilism. And so therefore you need to say that everything exists relatively, they don't exist ultimately. And so you have it like there are these two strains of twine, black and white twine, that are curled around each other. The strain of thinking everything exists, the thing that's saying nothing exists. And they're contradictory, but they're wrapped around each other. And so in this way you have these contradictions between existing and not existing. And it's as if, if something exists, there's no way that it can not exist. And if something doesn't exist, there's no way that it can exist. These are different. And so in this way, they're saying, things exist relatively, so, they've got this helter-skelter, this back and forth idea of everything. Then things don't exist ultimately, but then if you say that, then there's the danger that you'll think that things don't exist relatively, and so there are all these willy-nilly ideas flying all around. And so what is the reason why this is a problem? It's because while something exists, while there's something there, it can still be empty. The relative appearances appear, but at the same time, they are empty. It's possible for there to be ultimate emptiness and still have the relative appear. And so in terms of so we need to be free of all of this confusion. And so we're free of things either both existing or not existing. We're free of all of the different elaborations and complications, conceptual ideas that we can have. This is all possible within the nature of how things are. It is possible for the relative interdependence and the ultimate expanse to be unified, to be together. The two truths can be unified in this way. And so for that reason, there's no need to be afraid and say, oh, things must exist relatively somehow, and they have to be empty. There's no need for you hard-headed dialecticians to go helter-skelter in this way. And so it's possible to really, internalize and really comprehend what the actual nature of the Dharma expanse is.
Tene ta te tabu ge jen ji cha ten zo pang yen ding ji cha ten zo dang du lang ne ta nga ran zo tu sam se pe ka bi na yo ko ya po ji ji wa ta chi la jar ne chu ji yen dang kun zo ten ri jin ho ni song dun ju chu pe ge ne dang kan ri rin do ta tan da jong cha Rolpe Dorje ge sang ma ten ne ten la pa bi yo tene tekinto nangla gamne nyamsu nyongwa te tene tate zopa chimbo zochin tangur Mapam Rinpoche sungwa te la yang datardo tene tatanda susula chenji cha ten kolsandabo yungsegre te magolwa gugre tene te gam tata rangre gam chenga ki samne tene gam hinzenji ki te dodon rabo chela hencha ji na te sintriga mare tene te chetawa yendo gam gure sungata ha te zochin tangur tene te yendo ta sani jima heya ga shoshin tangur go on se na tene chujum chumbar Rinpoche ki sang shoja chimpi tawala jarne ta ti tawon gote ten je on se na ta te chuni ji ne lu te na pha ne tangur se na yandra tene ripin ne ta te na pha ne zochin ke tangur ta se na yandra tene tamal ji hipe ten do yo ne ta shoja chimpi tangur se na yandra ten do gomya te ta ngaran so tombo nelu guten gong gu yorela nelu guten te jache sasin chuji yen dan tene tendre songdun ju pa gam na yo te tabun rigi yorela te yendo te ci tab de ci sen senji nelu don ripin nelu guten to nyambri ga na yo chipa ndabo ji yung yorela tene ti ko ya po je na ta tel tene nyongwa tela yung pengi yorela ten di certo tanta tangur tenzo sungon separe.
So in this way, we eliminate any faulty aspects. We take up all of the good aspects, and when we are in the phase of listening and contemplation, then we develop a good understanding. If we look outside on a vast level, we can talk about this as the union of the Dharma expanse and relative interdependence. This is the way that it is, and so that is what is described here in the song of the middle way view described by Thrangu Rolpe Dorje. If we look inside at our meditation, then it is as described in Mipam Rinpoche's song of the Dzogchen view. It teaches the view, it teaches of all the different views that we need to take up. What are the aspects that are problems? What are the aspects that are qualities? What is it? And so it's possible that we can have difficulties and that we can stray from it. And it's important that we do not stray and we do not make mistakes in our meditation. As Mipam Rinpoche says, these days some of our old realized beings have a hope that there is something to cling to in so-called meditation. So if you think that there is some real solid thing that you can meditate upon and cling to that, then that is not the right way to meditate. And so that is what is described in the Song of the Middle Way view by Mipam Rinpoche. And then in the next few days, next week, in a few days, in the Song of the Mahamudra view written by Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, this is then joined with Mahamudra. And so in actuality, when we talk about the the nature of the Dharma expanse, as explained here in the Song of the Middle Way view by Rolpe Dorje, whether we talk about the way that awareness is as described in the Song of the Dzogchen view, or whether we talk about the ordinary mind, the nature of Mahamudra in the Song of the Mahamudra view, then all of these come down to the same thing. The main thing is that we need to meditate well. We need to realize, we need to meditate upon the nature of how things are as they are. If we think about this on a vast scale, then this is the union of the expanse and the relative interdependence. It is good and fine to meditate upon that. If we want to meditate on something easier, we can meditate upon the nature of the mind, or we can meditate upon the awareness. They're the same thing. But if we first develop a good understanding, then our experience of this will really be able to flourish. And so that is the main thing that is taught in these songs of the view. And so that's enough for this morning's session, but if there's anyone who might have a question, please ask.
Thank you, Rinpoche, for giving these teachings. I had a question about the first stanza on the Song of the View, called Recognizing My Mother, and the question is about the line, "With your kindness unrepayable, please remain in my heart." And I didn't write this down, but I thought you had said that practice was not really a sufficient way to repay the kindness of your Lama. And so I wanted to get clarification on that, because I've always heard that practice is the very best way to attempt, I guess, to repay some of the kindness.
Dila ni uma tagor la ni chuju ka soge zo karin korme de ni u shushi da wo shepe kap la ya degi daje na we ka so la ya morange ko la ya rinpoche ge ka so nyamlen chena de ngune ka so de lama ge karin de ka so ane korme ba da wo cha so de ka so dinen chegyo mare da wo sumare Yinayanda lama shindaki sonla ne kaso lamingi jinnen la ne kariche goresen top lam yakshursen nyamlenjere de kayana
Tatela chitang takarin sap ge tabla karichi gugresena ta tangbo lami ge sung ge jonsen de gang ge chedresena nyamlen si bichedlo sungare nyamlen si bichedlo sung indu tela de nyamlen yang takba je nang na tene de karin sap ge tab yapore cheperton papare yinaya tene tanda karin chasan de ya sap tobyo resena sabto yo mare te nyamling harang ke pare ma to lamal kadi che ga pai yo mare.
Generally, when we talk about ways to repay kindness, what is the reason that the Lama is teaching us? The Lama is teaching us in order that we practice. And so, if we do our practice properly, and we do what the Lama says, practice properly, then that is a good method for repaying the Lama's kindness. It is the best method for repaying the Lama's kindness. But does it repay all of the Lama's kindness? It doesn't. And the reason is that when we do the practice, who's the one who reaps the benefit of the kindness? It's us. Does the Lama? No.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
I was wondering what the line smashing awareness holders, what's the word smashing?
Da rizin chushit nam kazo sanction mashet chushik se de kayana
Tanda hikbo rinzin hikbo na la hik se na chubatamji hik songa ta tin sen de pe yapore ba trubatamji jason the topa cheparji jella jene the trubatamji jason top nabu jela kogi orela tinsen the pe yaboreva.
It's actually a name. It's Smashing Confusion. And actually it's a really nice name because, like it's someone who's destroyed all the confusion and they've got to this point of really excellent, wonderful realization. And so, they've destroyed all the confusion, smashed the confusion. And so in that way, it's a really nice name, isn't it?
Thank you, Rinpoche. Rinpoche, I understand the importance of studying all these different schools and avoiding obstacles and then gaining certainty in the correct view. My difficulty is translating that into actual experience of emptiness, how we would go from conceptual understanding and certainty to actual experience. And I'm thinking of a phrase of Nagarjuna, the ultimate cannot be grasped by the intellect, if I have that right. Could you say something about that, Rinpoche?
가서 치탕데 고기온데 채나 가서데 가서 투삼체데 기챈포 임페 준산당 가서데 안에 가서 고사당 노르사데서데 가서 마고에데 가서 개챈포 임페 고거데 안에 셰키에데 개챈포 임페 하고에데 이난 델라에는 무수 냠수 뇽와라야 다테 테스 칼레 카보 차게데 가서데 가서데 가서 녜셰데 가서 토제기 녜셰다보라 대기 가서 무슨 응원에도 냠냠 칸데 언장게나데 칼카포레 페나 안에 파파 시오 속에 somebana 신드는 로에 추이 means 셰 somebana 신게데 칸데 펭기나
텔라 운네 드가랑 레데 이나야 다페르나 단다 나란소 nda고지 이나 데네 다지 라미게 ngoteji na dige senjinelu de la nyomnyong ndaboji je nyomnyong de kapkala tembo yapa de salbo yapa yang kapkala tembo mepa salbo mepa ndaboji chundu de la tusam ke japchurji yona di ngihi de ngarang ke nyomnyong de ta tusam ke japchurte mena tene ngarang de yabu ina mena sambandabo tusam ke japchurte yepache tene ta de nontong sunju sena yanda saltong songtunju pa repeat to ngi chepar chinji yona o tela norwadam truba yo mare te tgaran ri duga samba te tusam ke tenla phape ke ngi teta tene tanda gambe ke nyansinyo nyomnyon te ni tegi tela salvo ndaboche yungi yore la te kalche ke yore ti phengi yore mato tene ngihi changba ke goni gongku na te se yungu mare te korang ke suwa nangi ngihi chongba ke goni topa che guna te se kale yore la te la perna ngarang ke te kapkala hege yo tene ndoi lamni na tene kalwa tongmi samdo tsusa gu songyo ware sanji gombong topala tene songho doje tipe lamne songna tene tseji luji ki sunju dojin chongo gombong topsi songyo ware tene je pars yebla tena ngalwa ndabu yore tseji luji ki sunju dojin chongo gombong togi yona kalwa tongmi samna kanchi ni tsusa andako kalwa tongmi songdo tsusa gupa chela tene tseji luji ki sunju dojin chungu kumo kaba togre tene ngaldan rabuji yuware ngaldan rabuji yuware tene tab gawang sena ngalda yuwa mare ta ngihi kita into changba gom tela gombe nyomnyong ge nyongwa te me shaja chimbo to zopa chimbo ngote te me na tene ta ngihi changba chichi ngihi kita into karigu gare sena ta kalwa tongmi som tsusa ni tene ngihi ge te nyomwa lan jorgi yore la teacher na yen rimbo ngorgi yore songha doje tipe lam ne sozu ge menga la tene kari yung re sena tene tela tene semji tento ngote undu tela tene tela ngihi ge nyong tela ngi hi ki tena pa ga ba o te ndar rin do ga so te yong tela teni ranche ba do ji yong yo la tini teacher na te tanda ngote ne to ba che par ji la ji ba la teni te che ji lu ji ki sun ju do ji chong ko mo to ba yong yo ba.
It's pretty much as you said. It's exactly as you said. But, sometimes what happens is, people meet a great Lama, they get pointing out instructions, they have this experience of the nature of the mind. And when that happens, sometimes it's really stable and it's really clear, and sometimes it's not all that stable and not all that clear. And so, what helps then is if you have the support of the study and contemplation, if you have that certainty as a support. And so if you have the experience without the support, then, is this good? Is this right? Is it not? I'm not sure how is it. It's not really, what is it like? You're not quite sure about that. But if you have the understanding, the certainty of, the union of appearance and emptiness, the union of clarity and emptiness, and know that then when you get that recognition, you say, that's exactly what it is. That's what it is. This is definitely it. And so, in this way, internalizing it through study and contemplation, and that certainty that comes from that, and the experience of meditation go hand in hand with each other. They help each other. It's very important and very helpful to have both of these. But as you said, if you only have this certainty, then, it's kind of hard. It's just as you said, it's difficult. If you only have certainty, it's difficult. Sometimes I give, I talk about this sometimes, and I say, talk about how if you follow the path of the sutras, it takes 3 interminable eons of gathering the accumulations of merit to realize the Buddhahood. Whereas in the Vajrayana, we say it takes 1 lifetime and 1 body. Now, if you just look at these two on the surface, it seems like, wait a minute, this is a huge contradiction. If you can do it 1 lifetime and 1 body, why bother taking 3 interminable eons? And if it takes 3 interminable eons, how can you possibly do it in 1 lifetime and 1 body? So it does seem contradictory, but actually if you look at the methods, then you see that it's not contradictory. If you just have that certainty, you only have that certainty, and you don't have the experience, you don't have the recognition of Mahamudra or Dzogchen, and only have that certainty, then it does take 3 interminable eons for that certainty to transform into experience. This is a kind of long time. But in the secret mantra of Vajrayana, with using the instructions of Mahamudra and Dzogchen, we could recognize the nature of the mind, we can have the experience of it. And then if we have the certainty, then we can think, that's what it is. This is exactly what the Lama meant. And then, they really help each other out. And so we recognize that we have the experience, and that leads to the realization. And that is how we can attain the state of a unified Vajraholder or Buddha in 1 lifetime and 1 body.
Rinpoche, after his homage, Rolpe Dorje starts with something that really struck me, which is he says, I am about to realize, by sheer coincidence, my failure to recognize. What does he mean by sheer coincidence? Is he referring to the kindness of the Lama in the previous verse and the kindness of the mother 2 verses later? It reminds me of the analogy that to wake up we have to recognize we're asleep. So seems like some kind of moment of turning of the attention here that interests me.
Excuse me, moment of turning?
Of the attention. He says, I am about to recognize. I'm about to realize that I fail to recognize.
Mm-hmm. Dylan Coswell. dela kazo chuju jela kazo ane dela ngoma shepa de kela nango she kazo amadunchen de sanju toba ngoma shepa de kela nango shepa de kazo de kela nawa de kazo tis kandi and pena the indicate gyurdu the indicate gyurdu na the coincidence double out it coincidence the kala the
kela no marike ngoma hipa de hila ki no
shela kenan
hila ki se hi chuju ndabo de lakali hira me bandabo tene ta tende ndabo je ko insere hila ka hi chuju ndabo.
The Tibetan is could also be translated here as being I am on the verge of recognizing, or on the verge of knowing what I have not recognized before would be another translation of this. So I'm on the verge of recognizing what I haven't recognized before. And so when you say Shela Ke is the Tibetan, so when you're talking about on the verge of knowing, this means I'm just about to know it. I haven't seen it before. It's right there, ready for me to recognize and know it.
Shilaka jiyose aso. Tanda pad mahiret. Inayo ngo mahiba de shilaka jiyose. Hi chojo ndabudoa. De kanji ne mahiba ina so.
So it's like saying, it's ready. I haven't recognized it now, but it's right there for me to know it and recognize it. So why is it that I haven't recognized it up to now? It's sort of asking.
Good morning, Rinpoche. Thank you for this opportunity. The question I have is a little technical one. In Rinpoche's opinion, if one were to receive a oral transmission in Tibetan of a particular text, and then later on, at some point, one wanted to pass that on to someone else, would Rinpoche consider it the correct, full transmission of the lineage if that was passed on in English with a good translation of that text?
Dila chua dila and kazo peke tola and shung chiki lung chik top na ra di maomba na de lung de mishenda la nawa yina de kazo de lung de inji tola dina de jua de yapo yina inji ke tola dina digi na.
Dela tanda tree yung double. Tindi ina ta tsek Japan double in this dela. Hidoge chebrio mari, inji tolandana ya. Tombo pegi then a long top na, tang te misalge ngaranzo tot Japan double hido mariva. Tang ngarang some churchena, tiniti pegi then tombo long there, the inji then a jur, inji then in long there. Tindisena disare sambatabo tal teita tine yung davo tindina tindisare sambatabo chagatola tine ndanchandabo ina pezi tanda silak papdabo je yorela pernangaranso jinrisike gomdendabo je ina tine tutu tongtong jabu ke song silak jin pichna pes sena cheparchin yorela tini ti lozawa te la tini topa cheparchin yona ti sena ti yore topa cheparchin mena ti sena ti te chi yomarela tini ti sena ke jipa se tu dencha te yandeng re te chi ta peki ki ne longdana sena chewa ndabo yore sabata ti ta ti kwa ke te nyom che ya Tri tang, teni yong tang, rikpa kate ni nyong wache ya ten sula, teni inji kate ni long sam, chepar kito yo samare, sam. Ten ngarang samchayi, te samchar la tanda samchar chi fachi re mato. Kuma song lo mampu tang, ni kandi insa ri song, ni song lo tang kamba tende mare. Tanda tende mendo yi samato.
Here, if it is like instructions or a philosophical text, then it's probably it's the continuum or the stream of the words, and so there's probably no problem of if you do it in English, but so if the transmission is given in English, but it's not something that's really been decided. This is just my opinion. So, first it's in Tibetan, and then it's translated, and then if translated into English, and then you give the transmission in English, that's probably okay for these instructions or philosophical texts and so forth. But when you're talking about things like practices, on things that we recite in practices, then there's the transmission of the blessings. For example, with the Chenrezig practice that we do, that was first composed by the great master Tanto Gyalpo, and so there are real blessings within that. And so these wonderful blessings. So now, if there is a translator who has real realization, then the translation will have the blessings. And if the translator does not have the realization, there won't be the blessings. And so so it's important to maintain the lineage of the transmission of the blessings. And so for that reason, for practices, for texts that are recited in this way, there probably are more blessings to it in Tibetan. But for instructions, for things where you develop, where you develop an experience through understanding the philosophical texts, the logical texts, and so forth, if you give the transmission in English, that's probably okay. But this is just my opinion. It's just something that I just sort of thought about right now on the spot, and it's not like I've given long and hard thought to the matter. So it's just, take it in that way.
Thank you, Rinpoche. May I please ask one more question? Would Rinpoche please, the other day he mentioned that Mahamudra has both Sutrayana and Vajrayana lineages. Could Rinpoche please describe the basic difference between Sutrayana and Mahayana Mahamudra? Sutrayana and Vajrayana Mahamudra.
그 지단데도 동안기 차신 이유 begin 나네 동안기 차신 이게 케브라 카이나스.
다지단 근도던 혼이 제벌대 간들에서는 탑조르 템바데 송도지 티바 되네 다지단 돌와 히랍조르 템바데 단다 안도임 비처나 되네 안도이 저 마지 저진데 라 되네 카히 자당 롱광네 되네 델라데네 샤제침부게 내루데 대통기 희지에게 탑세바 되네 카히 다 줄라서 바감네 살통기 희지에게 탑세바 되네 카히 이름절라이 제름감네 다 홍통게 송주기 희지어스비게 탑세바 델라 뭐지다와다 안델바 되네 뭐지다와다 안델바 뭐지 샤진데라 너이 따와데 되네 되게 탑나보데 자롱 감바다 제렘 감바다 되네 대견도 단다 줄루 감발라서 마인바 테카다 샘팅올라 당보히네 감 대된도 생오데 되네 테카 전주시네 졸롬 저자침 보세그래라 델란도 있다와 너희 사실 쇼기요래 동학 사진이라 다 탑탈론 때마 땡기 제버리요래 단다 지당가 살론 나루 주루동 졸론 사자침보세도 살론 나루 주루라 템바 있는 화지 사진 디텔 마틴바 있는 도이 사진 다부터 앞뒤 쇼기요래
Generally, the difference between the sutra and the mantra is one of means. And so when we use means, that's generally the mantra, the Vajrayana. And when we have the path of liberation that primarily emphasizes prajna, then that is the sutra path. And so in the mantra Mahamudra, then there are meditations using the channels and the winds, and using those in order to develop the experience of the nature of Mahamudra. And there are methods that focus on developing the wisdom of the union of bliss and emptiness. There are also methods of meditating upon the illusory body to develop the wisdom of clarity and emptiness, or using the creation phase visualizations of yidams in order to develop the wisdom of the union of appearance and emptiness. And so these are mixed with the view of tantras and mantras, and so this is the mantra Mahamudra. In the sutra, in the sutras, there is not such use of the channels and winds. There is not such use of the creation phase or the illusory body. Rather, it's just looking directly at the essence of the mind and just first resting within that and then gaining recognition of that. And so this is the path of liberation so that is the sutra Mahamudra. And then when we have the different methods that we use, that is the different methods of meditation. That would be more the mantra Mahamudra. So, for example, we often talk about the difference between the profound path of the 6 yogas. That is primarily the mantra Mahamudra. And then there are the practices of the sutra Mahamudra, which do not rely on those methods.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Is there a difference between the use of father and brother in the song? In the song, it mentions several times that the brother is the dependent origination, and the father is the one who's in union with the mother. But does that mean the appearance at the relative level?
Kaso ngurudinala kaso kakala pa apa dawo nguzenre kakala te kaso jojo gi pe dawo shaire te jojo de la tenjin dawo jungre te apa de kaso ama dang sundu jepe gi dawo nguzen naware tene de gi da kaso nawe gi kaso ane kunsup gi nawa dawo nguzenre ve te kaso apa de kunsup gi nawa
apa de kunsup nawa nguzen do 아바다 조조니 갑갈라 맹 조조다 갑갈라 아바 시 따바레데 이나야 디게 된다데 되네 군수 땡들지 노라 베가바도 되네 아마데 돈이 된다고 된발라 베가바라.
The father is a personification of the relative appearances. They're just different names that are given. Big brother, elder brother, that is relative appearance. Sometimes the relative appearance is called father, big daddy. And so you could say father in this way. But in both ways, they're just personifications of relative interdependence. And so mom is, mother is the ultimate emptiness.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I have a question about seeds of karma and seeds that are spoken about that are in the ground consciousness. I'd like if Rinpoche could explain how they exist in light of relative truth and ultimate truth and what we've been talking about.
Chitan kakala legi sabun rabochi keje yoro de kunzopkin kazo kunshin namshinala sabun rawo shagi keje yore de sabun gi shatan de kazo kunzo ada de kazo den kunzo unta dundangi keje mabo jomre degi ondu chena ke sabun gi kazo legi sabun rabo kunzo namshe kunshin namshinala shabade kanre gogore
kunzo 도 된다니
이제 만약에 데이터 전에 간대고 그래.
대군접에 된다고랬어.
더 치단데 샥당 패제 샥당데 가이나 간대도.
티카사부 코마데.
데가 레기 사벤 유로.
레기 사벤 유로.
레기 삼데서.
근기 와줘라 야래.
샤라. 데게 샥당데 네당 가니나. 데 kunzop이나 데 든담이나 스테 kunzop 아까 kun신한셰나 간대네 요래.
대라 다치당 그 온데세나 개와사발라 지당 그 사지지 개와도 소미지 개와시요래 사지지 개와이나 텔 개와시말라 ndrebu minji yoba. Tachi zawa dancing tang jepigo ne gewe zawa sapatela sachi chigewa sige. Ta tanda toni gamne dami jitan to ne gambate. Konza chudon konza ga dame ba to ne gamne. Tige tela sami chigewa sige. Sami chigewa tige pacha ti ya ondi tela kandire sene tel ndrebu kadu la ndrebu minju meba ta ting korwan le tarwege mengaje. Korwale tarwege tapchire. Telan korwin ndrebu yungu mare. Karire sene korwin tunhong de pa yalwege tapre. Saji chigewa ina nekab dewa topi tento. Jewa zangbo lembe tento. Tene ta tanda tongchu nyongjurji le tabi ina tsenda layon dewa topi tento. Jini nyongjurji le ina jewa chima layon deji dung tembe. Jewa zangbo lenya tento. Ta tende ndabu jela re la. Tene te ta jekto pacha te kenji nambar hipala kandisi yaga yaware sena. Kenji number hipala tan dreb main chope ta sachi chigewa ina dreb main chope tene dreb je pacha je yoga yore dreb main ne ta perna tanda ngarang gewa ja chimpo je so yo na tin dreb te lamsong phingre besena lamsong phing mare la ti pacha te tene sam ke ten la yone tini tim tinjin rabo jin zong de tini tin drebo te ngaran so mai yung yore per na ngaran so saben rabo ji tab na longsong saben te linyo ge jegre besena jeg mare te sau la remji leka sine tini ko nyo ge je ong graba pe te na yin gen drebo te mai yung yore la te la te pacha ya tong ta tin de ti pacha te ya mi pacha re tini sami jegewa te dami to bi hira ina ta tin koru chunno te rimji pa yalni tini ngaran tarba tong tamchin chembe kompon to be tanto tini kinji number hiba tingola te si toni ge tanto ngi hiji tini ti ge kinji number hiba ngola ngoma hiba mari be cha te rimji pang ne pan dog yore ba tini jege bocha ga